On a visit to the zoo with her newborn, a mother introduced her baby to a female gorilla through the protective glass. The moment caught the attention of zookeepers, who were shocked and quickly captured the moment with their cameras. What would happen when the gorilla approached the baby, and how would she react to such a vulnerable human? Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. Emelina Austin heard whispers around her as she held her son, Canyon, near the glass for the gorillas to observe. Canyon was asleep, unaware of the female gorilla's gaze from afar. As the gorilla approached the glass, surprised murmurs filled the air. "Oh my goodness, what's happening? She needs to distance her child." The crowd couldn't grasp why the mother felt at ease exposing her son to the gorilla. Emma found their concern amusing. The durable glass barrier ensured safety, and with Canyon too young to grasp his surroundings, he remained unfazed by the gorilla's potential reactions. Contrary to expectations of a negative response, the gorilla appeared immensely fascinated by the human child and drew the attention of the other gorillas in the area. The gorilla tapped on the glass and rested her palm against it, seemingly attempting to touch the hands of the 1-month-old asleep in his mother's embrace. This unprecedented interaction mesmerized all the onlookers, showcasing a touching connection between mothers from distinct species. The memorable encounter happened in 2021 during Emma and Michael's visit to Boston Franklin Park Zoo. Housing over 220 animal species, the zoo was a special place for the couple, marking the spot of their first meeting and where they wished to forge new family memories. This outing was their first since Canyon's birth a month prior. Despite the challenges of the past month, the joy he brought made everything worthwhile. Emma and Michael journeyed through the zoo, eventually reaching Gorilla Grove. Known for housing the western lowland gorilla family, the grove had recently been upgraded to offer more space for play. Emma, having visited before the renovation, was eager to witness the enhancements. Gorilla Grove, now teeming with vines and a waterfall, mimicked the gorilla's natural environment as closely as feasible. The guide shared that the grove also provided the gorillas with foraging possibilities, encouraging them to search for food during the day. Today, unlike most days, they were outside. The young ones frolicked and received a lot of attention from their mothers, while the adult male silverbacks relaxed in the cool areas and observed the visitors who walked by. Among these gorillas was Kiki. She had spent a considerable part of her life being nurtured by humans, learning how to show care and affection. Nonetheless, her natural maternal instincts were undeniable. Even before she had offspring of her own, she made it her mission to care for the young ones belonging to other members of the group. She was consistently seen looking after the babies, holding them close and nurturing them just as their own mothers would. This provided the new mothers the peace of mind that their young were in safe hands. One significant day, her role as a caring maternal figure became crucial for the survival of the gorillas at the zoo. At the age of 17, Kiki was present when Gorilla Grove saw the birth of its first gorilla in the zoo's history, a female named Cass, born to 23-year-old Coco. It is crucial for newborns to remain near their mothers for the initial 6 months and to be breastfed for about 3 years before they start to venture on their own. However, complications arose during Cass's birth, and her mother couldn't deliver her naturally. After recovering from the emergency C-section, she rejected her baby and became hostile when zookeepers attempted to bring them closer. In the absence of her mother, the infant encountered numerous health issues and soon developed pneumonia. Cass's father stepped in, attempting to take care of her, but she required more attention and care than he could offer. A zookeeper was prepared to assume the role of Cass's mother and care for her, but Kiki, without any offspring of her own, instinctively took the infant under her wing. She would hand the newborn over for bottle feeding by the zoo's care team before returning her back to the enclosure. Thanks to Kiki's attentive care, Cass recuperated and seamlessly adapted to zoo life. When Kiki started having offspring of her own, she would proudly display them to the visitors, always keeping them within her sight. Her youngest and latest baby, Pablo, was 7 months old during Emma's visit and was still navigating his surroundings within the enclosure. For Pablo's initial 2 months, Kiki was extremely protective, not letting anyone come close. Pablo's father, Combe, was still not permitted to interact with his son even 7 months later. Whenever he attempted to, Kiki became defensive and would swiftly move her baby away from his reach. The zookeepers decided it was wise for Combi to step back and wait until Kiki felt it was time to allow him to be near their son. The zookeepers often remarked, half in jest, about how, if a baby ever ended up in the exhibit by accident, Kiki would probably prefer to keep it. This was a testament to her strong maternal instinct. However, when such a dreadful incident actually occurred, they witnessed the full extent of Kiki's compassion towards the young of any species. 5 years prior to Emma's visit, a young boy on a weekend outing to the zoo climbed over a barrier, resulting in a fall onto the concrete floor below. All 7 gorillas in the vicinity moved toward the distressed boy, while his parents, on the other side of the glass, called out for assistance. The boy's tears flowed as he called for his dad, but the gorillas continued to surround him. The dominant male gorilla, driven by curiosity, reached out to touch the boy, which made him retreat to a corner of the enclosure, trapped and fearful. By the time the zoo staff got there, the 3-year-old had cried himself to almost silence, barely responding to their shouts. The staff were hesitant to enter the enclosure with all the male gorillas present. Normally, they would wait until the gorillas had moved indoors to avoid provoking them into aggression. They now had to delicately handle the situation to ensure the boy's safety. While they debated their next steps, Kiki, with her infant clinging to her, emerged from where she had been resting. She surveyed the scene and quickly understood that a human child was amidst their habitat. Despite the presence of the male gorillas and the crowd that had gathered on the other side, Kiki approached the boy. Before we go any further, like this video to help it reach 15k likes, share and subscribe. His eyes swollen from crying and his clothes dirty from the fall, he was initially scared of Kiki but remained motionless and silent. Kiki then turned her gaze towards the parents, who were silently hoping for their son's safety. His mother, tears in her eyes, silently begged Kiki to be gentle. Having recently had a baby herself, Kiki felt a kinship with the distraught mother. With a swift movement, Kiki embraced the boy. As she lifted him, he passed out in her arms. Kiki, acknowledging his fragility, tenderly carried him to the enclosure's entrance, where zoo staff and medical personnel were ready to take over. As they approached, the staff dissuaded the other gorillas from following with a spray of water, allowing Kiki to pass. She handed the boy to the zoo staff without incident and went back to her family. The boy had a fractured hand and minor facial injuries from the fall and spent 4 days in the hospital before he was discharged, eventually making a complete recovery. Through her actions, Kiki not only saved the boy from potential danger, but also captured hearts worldwide, earning her additional treats and care from the zoo staff. Many visitors, including Emma and her husband Michael, were drawn to the zoo, all eager to see the heroic gorilla. While strolling near the gorilla enclosure, a crowd captured their attention, engrossed in watching Kiki as she interacted with Pablo. She was completely absorbed in her son, ignoring the onlookers and their cameras. As a new mother, Emma felt a connection seeing Kiki's care for Pablo, admiring the bond they shared. Glancing at her husband, Emma then brought Canyon closer to the glass, uncertain if Kiki would gaze their way, yet hopeful that her newborn would catch the gorilla's interest. For a few moments, Kiki continued engaging with Pablo, occasionally looking over at Emma and Canyon. Despite her curiosity, Kiki was reluctant to divert her attention from her son. However, Emma remained determined. Her husband suggested they should leave, but Emma was convinced of Kiki's interest in Canyon. She gently moved aside the blanket from Canyon, revealing his hand, and smiled as his fingers clasped around hers. Gently tapping the glass to get Kiki's attention, Emma brought Canyon closer. This gesture captured Kiki's curiosity. She approached the glass, observing the sleeping child, and uttered gentle sounds, expressing her delight. Even with the physical barrier and inability to communicate verbally, the connection between the two mothers, bonded by their love for their sons, was undeniable. Kiki settled on the ground, mirroring Emma's previous action. Emma placed Canyon's hand against the glass, and Kiki did the same, longing for a closer touch. She signaled towards Canyon, puzzled why the other gorillas weren't as enchanted by him. Kiki and Emma exchanged a look, acknowledging their mutual maternal bond. Attempting to caress Canyon as she would her own offspring, Kiki pressed closer to the glass. She then glanced at Emma and her husband, a look of pride on her face. Despite interruptions from her daughters, Kiki stayed, focused on the visitors, showing her appreciation for the human child's presence. Behind Kiki, Pablo was engrossed in playing with leaves, unaware of his mother's fascination with the human child. Pablo patiently awaited her return, maintaining his distance from any guests or fellow gorillas until then. Kiki glanced at her son, then shifted her focus back to Canyon. Emma had introduced Canyon to Kiki, sparking Kiki's desire to reciprocate. More importantly, she was eager to showcase her son and express the pride she felt towards him. He was Kiki's first son and the inaugural male gorilla birth recorded at the Boston Zoo. She used hand signals towards the couple, leaving them puzzled and trying to decode her message. Soon after, Kiki walked off, leaving Emma pondering the situation. Despite Kiki's departure, Emma remained joyful for the shared moments and Kiki's evident delight in seeing Canyon. Emma and Michael resolved to explore other zoo areas. As they were leaving, Michael spotted Kiki signaling them, implying she wanted them to stay. To their surprise, Kiki came back to them. Hidden under her arm was something moving. It was Pablo, her smallest one. Initially hesitant, Pablo was gently persuaded by Kiki to come closer to the glass. Seeing Pablo against the glass, curiosity got the better of him, and he locked his gaze with the sleeping infant in their arms. Despite his initial disinterest, Pablo, like Kiki, was captivated by Canyon. The youngster pressed his face against the glass, eager for a closer examination of the baby. He turned to Kiki, gesturing towards Canyon. Acknowledging his curiosity, Kiki and Pablo leaned in, touching their noses against the glass together. Overwhelmed, Michael and Emma had tears in their eyes, moved by the connection they witnessed. More onlookers were drawn to the scene, prompting zoo staff to investigate the gathering. Astonished by what they saw, zookeepers recognized the rarity of Kiki's fascination with a human infant and Pablo's immediate affection. They assisted the couple in capturing this moment with photos and shared their story online. Many bystanders shared with the couple that such a touching scene was unparalleled in their zoo visits, offering their appreciation for the unforgettable moment. As they departed, Kiki and Pablo kept pace alongside them behind the glass, watching them disappear from view. It was an uncommon instance of such deep interaction between humans and gorillas, leaving an indelible mark on all who were present. Later, Michael shared the encounter on Facebook, highlighting it as one of his most remarkable experiences. Filled with joy, he acknowledged the day's decision to visit the zoo and Emma's initiative in engaging with Kiki. This is a tale they planned to tell little Canyon when he got much older. In 2003, Emma and Michael visited the zoo again, now with their 2-year-old son in tow. Upon their arrival, they scanned the area excitedly until they spotted Kiki and her youngest son, Pablo, who was nearly 3 and usually found playing near his mom. Kiki was settled under a shelter, keeping a watchful eye on Pablo's activities. Emma knocked on the glass and tried to get Kiki's attention. At first, there was no response, so Emma tried again. Kiki glanced at the couple briefly, but stayed where she was. They had hoped Kiki would recognize them so they could reintroduce Canyon, now a bit older. While they wondered what to do next, Kiki left her lounging spot and approached them. She had remembered. She gazed at Canyon, who returned the look with curiosity. It had been some time since their last encounter, and Kiki was amazed at how quickly he had grown. She pressed her hand against the glass, and after his parents encouraged him, Canyon did the same. Kiki then lowered her hand and shared a look of gratitude with Emma before going back to Pablo. The two moms remembered each other and their young sons, forever connected by their maternal affection despite being different species. What a touching story. Would you allow your child to form a bond with an animal? Do you believe Kiki truly recalled Emma and Canyon? Share your opinions in the comments. And like, share, and hit that notification bell for more amazing stories. See you in the next video.